Today we have Jesse Eckel, 148,000 followers on TikTok, rockstar entrepreneur. I've been a huge follower and fan of Jesse's work from like a year ago when I first started on TikTok. I did my own 90-day blitz where I was making a video every single day at the beginning of 2020, and I stopped right when the pandemic started. So a lot of people that got onto TikTok is when I stopped making videos for some reason, but I had a lot of stuff going on. But anyway, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here, man. Pleasure to finally meet you, talk to you, besides on TikTok.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me to Clubhouse.
So most of the people that are in my audience are real estate company owners, brokers, and managers. You've been a great inspiration for me. You were one of the first entrepreneurs I followed on TikTok, and I really appreciate your content, everything you've done. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you, if you were to talk to a real estate company owner or a salesperson in real estate, what kind of services can you offer somebody like that?
I had people just every single week being like, hey, I want to do Google Ads with you. And I mean, like every new client's close to $1,000 a month for me extra.
Okay.
But I just ran the numbers out, and it just at the pace I wasn't going to get there. So I wanted to go for something bigger. So I haven't been doing that as much. But if I was in real estate and I wanted more clients, there's got to be people out there that Google it that don't want to ask someone. So maybe that's just me. But that's all Google is if people are looking for it, looking for that type of service, and they type it into Google, ads pop up, and people click those ads, and people fill out those forms. And if that's valuable to you, if you can make money off of that, then you can run Google Ads and make money. And so usually I'll say if you can make over $1,000 per client, then it's a good fit. So for a real estate agent, that's going to be a great fit because real estate deals are usually $5,000 minimum, right? Like if you sell a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be a great deal because you're going to get people reaching out, and their odds are if you connect with them first, they're not going to shop around. They're just going to be like, all right, I'll go with you. And then you got a client.
Brilliant. And so I know you're on a mission to make $1 million within a year. What's the deadline for that, or the achievement line for that, I should say?
I don't know the exact date off the top of mind, but it's late August. So
late August.
I started 1 to 1 million in like the last week of August. And originally I wasn't even just doing it for a year. Originally I just said trying to make $1 million. But then I kind of kept refining the idea. And it was probably 2 months later that I said, I'm trying to make $1 million in a year. So then I kind of redefined that as just because I knew people were kind of having a hard time grasping what I was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was originally trying to go from $1 to $1 million, and they weren't really understanding that. So when I said in a year, it clicked, and that's when I had my first one go viral. And the series just took off after that.
So what is, if you'd like to give us a kind of like an update on that, like what are you doing now to get closer to the goal? Because it sounded like you're going away from the Google ads. So how can somebody listening help you in achieving that?
I switched to something that was more scalable. So something that didn't require a direct amount of my time. And I'm in the progress of launching a brand. The first product I launched, I picked something that was simple, that I thought was more like a passion thing for me, that I was really passionate about, but not necessarily something that I was looking to be like the best seller ever. And so I picked the planner, the Entrepreneur's Planner, that I'm sure you've heard about.
Mm-hmm. And I ordered it. I actually was.
Yeah, that's right.
Pre-ordered
it. I just sent you an email today with the course.
That's right.
So I did pre-orders for that, launched it, and that was just something that I was passionate about, that I knew was really effective, but I also knew on a lot of levels wouldn't be something that would, be a massive seller, just because I know most people aren't going to like jump out of bed when I say I'm offering a planner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in a lot of ways, I like that because I wanted to order a small batch, learn the process, get it out there, and then launch multiple successive products after that. and pair them all together. And I wanted the first thing to be something that people would underestimate, but when they got it, they would be hooked. So I would get that trust right away where people would be like, okay, like I gave you my trust at the beginning. You lived up to that trust. And because of it, like, I'm going to trust you for the second, the third, the fourth product, etc.
Very cool. Very cool. So it sounds like you're developing more products to offer at different price points, or is it going to be just a renewal on the planner itself?
No, it's going to be multiple products. So I haven't exactly. So I have a list of products that I think would be great, including I am playing around with the idea of courses. Mm-hmm. Not really seriously, but so many people have encouraged me to do it. I'm playing around with specifically the idea of releasing a course around how I make my content for TikTok, just because every single day I get somebody asking me how I do it or how I do an element of it. Mm-hmm. And I know that would be something that people would be like, they'd be jumping out of bed to be like, I would love to learn the secrets for how you do that. So I know that would be a good bestseller, and I don't have to worry about stock. But I'm leaning more towards a physical product for my second one. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I'm a huge 80-20 thinker, advocate of 80-20 action taking as well. My thought just naturally goes to what is the highest use of your time with the least amount of effort that can give you the best return of that time. And so, I mean, it sounds like you're on the path to doing that, but I think a course.
That's awesome. I used to have a podcast before I did TikTok.
Oh, did you really? Do you still have it going?
Yeah. No, I paid for the hosting as well. And I actually, when I went and switched it over, I must have messed something up because it never switched over. But I did an episode every single day for a year.
Oh my goodness. That's absolutely amazing. You had an episode every day for a year. And where would you host your podcast? Like, was it on Anchor or somewhere else?
So originally it was on Simplecast. So I like I said, I paid for it, but then I switched. I tried switching it to Anchor later on when I was done, just to have it up. Uh-huh. And I don't know what I did wrong, but there was an error, and I had deleted it off of Simplecast, and I lost it. So that's kind of a bummer. But
interesting. There's no way of salvaging the content. You have it on your hard files, though, right?
Yeah, I technically have it on my computer. All the episodes I recorded. So I guess I could repurpose them in the future. Yeah. But it was a blast. That's doing the podcast is how doing that for a year every single day is how I kind of got down my everything before I did TikTok. So I come from a video background, and I tried doing it on the app, and it was actually more difficult for me. I just started recording things and then putting it through Final Cut Pro, and I can edit 10 videos in an hour.
And then how often are you publishing?
On TikTok?
Yeah.
Right now I publish just Monday through Friday. Sometimes on Saturday. I was doing 7 days a week. Some people do 3 times a day. I didn't want to do that.
Issa Love, what a beautiful name. Thank you for joining us.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited I came across this because I definitely wanted to grow my TikTok for my brand. So I was just listening and trying to get as much tips as possible. I am on TikTok, and I'm sorry, my toddler is in the background, so if you hear him.
That's okay. I have 5 kids, so I.
Oh my goodness, Jesse.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Thank you. It is amazing. It's crazy too.
Outstanding. So your question, Issa, is how to grow a massive TikTok following. I'm going to defer that to Jesse because he's done it and he's demonstrated elite performance there. So take it away, Jesse.
Yeah. How long are you posting right now regularly, or are you just getting started?
I am posting, and I probably post once a week. But I barely even could get like one person to watch. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Really? So you'd get just one view?
Sometimes 0. Yes.
Really?
One view. Yes.
Well, I can say, for one, posting regularly helps a lot. Is there a lot of kids in your posts?
Yeah, I do a lot of posts with my son and my nephew.
So that could be troubling for TikTok because when you're a smaller account, TikTok limits your reach when you're posting about kids. This is just because they can't moderate content on that small of scale, and because the majority of users are smaller users, they limit it. Basically, you're not hitting the For You page because you're featuring kids in your videos. Yeah, you must have, like, sometimes it will happen. Like, if somebody just creates an account, they make a video with a kid in it, and it'll hit the For You page. But if you're consistently doing it, TikTok figures it out and kind of limits your reach, because it doesn't know, it doesn't have the ability to know what, if that's good content or not. And it just wants to make sure that doesn't go out to a massive audience if you're doing something illegal or that is against their terms, because and they're just extra cautious because it's, featuring kids.
That is an amazing tip. I would have never known that. So I have a baby brand, and a lot of my content is surrounded by kids. And I didn't know that, so I need to kind of get on there and do some videos with myself.
Yeah. When I first started out, and again, it's kind of inconsistent because it doesn't happen to everyone. I've seen people that start a new account, they'll post a video of their baby, and it'll go like mega viral. I think it comes from, certain things trigger it. I don't know exactly what, but when I first started out, I posted a video of my kids, and anytime I did that, my videos would just completely flop. Like, same thing you're saying, I'd get like 10 views, which was crazy, because my other ones were getting thousands. And so I just stopped doing that because I'd read some similar things about like just not featuring kids, especially on live streams. Like, if you feature a kid on a live stream, then they really freak out. Sometimes they'll ban you for like a week from logging into the app. But so anyway, but once I got to a certain size audience, and I think I built up trust with TikTok, they kind of lifted some of those restrictions, because now I can post about my kids all the time, and it's totally fine. So I think you start to earn trust the bigger your account gets. But yeah, they're extra cautious with smaller accounts.
That is really good to know, because now I am going to try to get on in front of the camera and just do a little bit more with myself first, I guess, to gain that trust. What other ways can I gain the trust?
What most business owners do on TikTok that is like a proven format that's really successful is showing the behind the scenes of running your business instead of focusing on the products. So for example, you could show yourself shipping out orders. You can kind of tell your story of how you started the business. You can do something special when you deliver an order and be like, I decided to include this special thing on this order, knowing that, moms have a hard day, so I left this sweet note in there, or different things like that. Like you'll start to find which ones perform better. And then if you find one that performs really great, turn that into a series and try to figure out a way to make a lot of videos each week about that certain, whatever format that video is. And I'll usually at least throw in one reply to comment video where somebody asks a comment, and I'll do a reply to that comment as one of my videos for the week. And that's an easy one. But yeah, you just kind of build it out based around your business and like the entrepreneurship aspect. And as you do that, you'll start to grow and you'll start to attract the right audience. Another thing you could do as well is do mom tips, but without featuring your kids. So it could be something like, hey, here's a hack for being a mom to get this stain out. Or here's a tip if you have babies for this. Or, like different pieces of advice. And the more like mind-blowing that advice is, like if it's something that most people don't know, then it just blows up. If you do it well, right? And I would be posting at least once a day when you get started. Not because, one, because the algorithm favors just consistency, but for two, that's going to make you a lot better at it. Because in the beginning, I haven't seen your content, but in the beginning, most people just aren't good, but you get better the more times you do it.
Great suggestions. Posting once a day, educating your audience. And I know you did a great video, Jesse, with your family that went viral as well. But then you did a follow-up video after that about the statistical data about the results and how it wasn't your target audience. Can you talk a little bit about that with regards to your content?
Yeah, so that's a funny story. So I jumped on the Taylor Swift trend back last summer. My video blew up. It was like my best performing video at the time. And then I realized that the target audience that I was going after was entrepreneurs. And that entire audience was moms. And it made it so that all the content I was posting that had previously performed really well was suddenly performing really poorly. And basically the way that TikTok is looking at it is they'll say, oh, this person enjoyed this video, so they'll probably enjoy your other videos. So then they start showing my content to all these moms who loved the video of me and my wife and our kids, but did not like all my entrepreneurial tips. And so I actually privated it so it was just friends could see it for a little bit, just till it kind of died down a bit. And doing that it was like a week. And then my views started picking back up, and I started focusing more in on the audience that I was going after. But since then, I've even kind of pivoted a little bit because I used to do more tips. That's how I got started. Everything I was talking about, doing the learning aspect. But I've kind of changed styles to where now I'm doing more of these like epic challenges or these epic journeys, and sharing my journey as I'm on it, and not as many tips.
Very cool. Yeah, I've noticed a little subtle change there. And how is the viewers? How has that altered the views on your channel to this point? Improved it? Has it lessened it, or is it about the same?
I mean, I've gotten more followers, so it's hard to say. I consistently will pull in around 10 to 20,000 views a video, which is, I think, pretty good for my size. But I'm not really paying attention to that as much as the journey I'm on. Mm-hmm. Like for me, if I post a video and it doesn't perform well, I just think, well, I need to level up my journey, not necessarily change how I'm doing the videos. And I think that's kind of a unique mindset on TikTok because most people are looking for ways to, almost hack the algorithm by what hashtags or trending songs or trends should I use, or keeping it under a certain length. But I don't even care about any of that. I just focus on the content solely and saying, hey, if, maybe people aren't paying attention to my journey as much when I've only brought in like $60,000, but I guarantee you once I've brought in $500,000, people will start to pay attention.
Very cool. Now I had another question. Who are the top 3 creators that you have for TikTok that you'd recommend us to take a look at?
If you're saying who inspired me,
yeah,
I would say the Trade Me Up project definitely inspired the 1 to 1 Million project, and inspired my Trading to Disney series. Both those series were heavily inspired by that. It's a girl, she lives in San Francisco, and she's trading a paperclip for a house. A bobby pin for a house. Her username is just Trade Me Up project.
All right, perfect.
Outside of her, on YouTube, I love content creators like Mr. Beast, Eric. Have you heard of them?
I know Mr. Beast, but I don't know who Eric is. What is he all about?
So,
who's that guy?
Eric's crazy. I actually found him like 2 weeks ago, but it was so inspiring to me to see what he was doing. Basically, he decided he wanted to get famous on YouTube. He started at like no followers whatsoever and decided he was going to hit 1 million followers in 1 year on YouTube. Proved that it was still possible because it's insanely hard to grow on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
And so he had like 5,000 followers, and he was renting helicopters and doing these insane videos that creators that have 40 million followers are doing, right? He was like sneaking into videos with David Dobrik and Mr. Beast. He took over his island. He was doing all this crazy stuff with like just a small following. And he had that same kind of mindset. It wasn't about how many followers he had. It wasn't about how many views he was getting. Some of these videos where he rented a helicopter, he got 500 views at first. But he was in it for the long game, and he had the mindset of be so good they can't ignore you. And it paid off in the long run. He just hit 1 million followers like last week. And it was under a year he did it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. So cool. But for me, I was like, oh, that's I was encouraging because I'm like, I need to level up my game. I need to continually be focusing on my content and saying, how can I do this better? How can I have the mindset of somebody who already has 50 million followers? Mm-hmm. And, why wait to create videos like that till when I have a large audience? Why not pretend like I have a large audience right now and create the content that I would be making then now?
Phenomenal question.
I wanted to ask you about, you were talking about Bitcoin earlier. I don't know if you saw my latest video where I'm taking $5,000 and I'm sticking it on an app called Stoic. Have you ever heard of Syndicator?
No.
So Syndicator is a company. They're crazy. I've been following them for about 4 years. They use hybrid intelligence, which is just a fancy way of saying they use AI and something called wisdom of the crowd to make predictions about future movements in the stock market or in the crypto space. And so what they'll do is they have 100,000 different analysts all over the world who are competing for like a prize pool. And those analysts make predictions on what they think is going to happen. They're asked questions. Those questions are then all compiled, averaged out, and then run through an AI system, which enhances them. And they have a track record of being like close to 70% accurate with every single prediction they make, which is incredible. I've heard people say that if you could be 51% accurate, on Wall Street, you could be a multimillionaire within a year.
Yeah.
And so they're close to 70% accurate, and they have a product called Stoic, which is basically an automated version of that, where you stick your money in it, and then based off the AI's prediction, they employ the strategies automatically with your money to trade different cryptocurrencies to try to get the best return on investment.
So did you invest $5,000? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, I threw $5,000. Well, that's my newest series. And so I just threw $5,000 in there. I'm going to leave it in there for a year and see what happens. Over the last year, they said they got 318% return on investment, was like how much you would have gotten if you put your money in there, which is, they have like a little chart comparing everything. They have like Bitcoin, which is like 200%. They had like the stock market, which is like 40%. And then they had theirs, which was 318%.
Wow. Well, you've been very gracious with your time, Jesse. Isa, appreciate you joining us. For the podcast listeners, where can they learn more about you?
I mean, I'd say the best place to follow me is on TikTok because that's my number one communication channel.
Okay.
So just my name @Jesse Eckel. And then if they want to check out the planner, it's 1000swords.com. So just the number 1000swords.com. But there's also a link in my bio on my TikTok.
I appreciate you being on the show, the Pro Spotlight. Let's continue the conversation and we'll talk soon, man.
Okay. Sounds good, man. Catch you later.
All right. Take care.